What's up, guys? Welcome back to the new and improved Ruling on the Floor podcast. As you can see, we are now showing our faces more interactive with you guys. Now you can see our facial reactions when it comes to Alex's ridiculous basketball takes, but ignore it. There are going to be a lot of them throughout the rest of the season, so can't really do much about it.
But yeah, guys, really excited to start doing the show this way. We like the podcast, but now we're going to do a lot more fun things so you can actually see us, see Jordan's face when he's wrong about the Warriors. So yeah, really excited to start off the show this way too.
Alex, I've been nothing but right about the Warriors this season, but we'll have plenty to talk about Golden State this year. But Alex, the first topic I wanted to get to, obviously, it has to go with the Nuggets and Michael Porter Jr. We know that they recently announced he's going to be having back surgery again. How deep of a hole are the Nuggets in with Michael Porter Jr. this year, and just going off for the future, just after they just gave him a max rookie extension?
Yeah, especially everyone was expecting him to be like a most improved player candidate this year. Didn't work out that way. Even when he was playing, he was pretty terrible. He was shooting like 30% from the field. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
remember back in when I was in high school, I remember he had back surgery back then too, and it derailed his whole college career. So yeah, it's going to be something that's going to take a while to bounce back from. They've invested a lot into him as one of their starter guys of one of the guys of the future. So especially with Jamal Murray being out, it's a lot to put on the Nuggets now. They say he may be ready for playoffs. I doubt it, but yeah. So if they can get them all back together by playoffs, it'll be helpful. But yeah, that's just a big blow for the Nuggets since they've invested so much in him to be one of their young stars.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and you say, oh, possibly being ready for the playoffs. I don't think he will. Back surgery is a really big thing, and especially this is his second or third back surgery already in his young career. And like you said, many people expected so much from him of what we saw him do, and as rightfully so, he was proving to be an amazing talent, and everybody knew he was going to be a top 3 pick in the draft before obviously the whole back surgery thing happened and everything like that. So he definitely dropped. But then when the Nuggets swooped him up, and then he looked to be great, it was like, wow, the Nuggets just got a steal. Like, to get that kind of pick for Michael Porter Jr., now he's putting up the numbers that everybody expected him to put up. That's what they did. So I look at the Nuggets. I mean, they're kind of having some bad luck right now. I mean, Jamal Murray's out. We don't know when his timetable is set. MPJ, PJ Dozier coming off of an ACL tear, so he's out for the rest of the season. It's a lot to put on Jokic and the Nuggets. I don't know what to expect from them if they can even make the playoffs this year, considering that they only have Jokic. I don't know if they're going to be that good enough a team to make it.
Yeah,
Maybe
more
being able to
reliable.
Will Barton. I could possibly see them squeezing into a possible 9-10 seed play-in, but I don't know. I don't expect much without their guys. Maybe Jamal Murray can be back come playoff time. I think that's definitely a possibility. So if they can get him back, I definitely think that they could make the playoffs, but I don't expect anything much from them without MPJ, without their whole team. And I look at paying MPJ that much to not know what his future is going to be. I mean, these back surgeries could affect him in the long run, and it's scary to think he might not even be able to play at the level that he was for the rest of his career.
Yeah, and I mean the Nuggets are looking kind of suspect right now. They did have a big lead on the Spurs last night and then ended up losing by 12. So I mean, yeah, it's going to be rough to see them if they're going to even make a push for the playoffs or they're just kind of like take this year off. I mean, they still got all young guys on their team. It's not like they have some aging star on their team that they have to
Except
rush
Jeff
a big
Green.
push. Oh my God. Yeah, he blown it last year with the Nets. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if they just didn't compete that much this year. But with their current circumstances, it's hard to see them make a legit push for a title like last year.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna. They have a lot of questions to answer. Like I said, hopefully the Nuggets don't have to worry. I hope MPJ can come back and be able to play at the level that he was playing. The kid has so much talent. He has a bright future if he could battle these injuries. He's done it before. We hope that he can do it again. Jamal Murray, I hope that he can come back and have at some point this season and be able to play with the Nuggets and help them compete. But I don't expect much for them this year. I think they're out of the. I think they're really out of the top contention after being a really top contender for the past few years. But I think they're done for contention for this year. But like I said, hopefully their guys can come back for next season and then they'll be ready to compete next year.
Yeah, I mean they're sitting right now at the eighth seed at 12 and 13. Yeah, I mean it would either way. I think they're gonna squeeze in a playoff spot of it because they're still a competitive team. Mike Malone is a great coach. He gets the best out of his guys. And they're but I mean they're also really great at drafting. You see, like they got like studs like PJ Dozier. That guy Bones Highland is a really like quick, fast, speedy guard. I like watching him play too. So whatever they do this year, I think they'll make the most of it.
Yeah, they're, like I said, I mean, I can see them squeezing and play in, possibly even an eighth seed because of Jamal Murray possibly being able to come back. But we'll see what they have in store for their future. They got young talent, such great young talent. I just hope that they could all come together, be able to play healthy, not have to worry about these things.
We got my
The
boy.
next topic I the next topic I wanted to go into was the Portland Trailblazers, another team that's just kind of completely falling apart right now. Obviously, Dame battling an injury right now. They have a losing record. CJ McCollum, a collapsed lung. I hope that he's good and nothing have to worry about that for him. But should the Blazers rebuild and just start over?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the thing with Lillard and his abdomen issues, I knew that was going to be a pro. Sorry, I did think that was going to be a problem coming into the year. It hurt him during the Olympics, but yeah, it's like everything else is falling apart. It's funny that Nurkic is the one that's still standing and not the two guards. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as their future, like yeah, they've ran the same team pretty much since like 2015 or something. Um, you got it. Like I mean, they're trying to add like little complimentary guys like Covington. Who else they got? They got a Norman
Covington is
Powell.
just not good. Norman Powell's a bucket. I like Norman
Yeah,
Powell, but Covington's
but
not good.
yeah, but I mean, it's like bro, last year was your chance because I mean there was no Warriors and the Lakers were kind of hurt and then they just got killed. So I mean,
Exactly.
it's going to be something where they have like they could do one more push to try to get Lillard a complimentary star. The biggest thing that we're hearing is CJ McCollum. Lillard is a rumor that he wants Ben Simmons to come over and play with them. But I mean, with what just happened with CJ McCollum, I don't know if his trade value is anywhere. So there's a lot of
Exactly.
stuff going on, and they might if they just want to rebuild it all right now. I think now would be not the best time. You got to wait for them to have some more value and get some picks and some more quality young guys back.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the Trailblazers and, like you said, talking about Ben Simmons or Damian Lillard possibly wanting to play with guys like Ben Simmons, a Draymond Green, and maybe even looking at Sabonis after the Pacers announced that they want to start a whole rebuild. But CJ McCollum would have to be the complete star around that pack for a package to get done. And now that this happens, it just completely kind of shuts down the Blazers' ability to be able to move him if they don't know McCollum's timetable to be able to come back and play. Obviously, Dame had a horrible start to the season. Obviously, the abdomen issue just messed him up throughout the season. I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but I don't think it's going to be for the rest of the season, obviously. But no CJ McCollum. Obviously, I think you could still package. They'd be definitely able to package Nurkic, maybe package Rocco, CJ McCollum, but without being able to package CJ McCollum, I don't see them being able to get guys like Sabonis, get guys like Ben Simmons, talks about possibly getting a guy like Jalen Brown, a great wing defender and scorer. So I don't know what's going to be the decision for that. I don't. I think right now the best hope for the Blazers is just get Dame out of there. I think Dame needs to go somewhere else. I think they need to trade him. I think whatever it takes. If it's the Sixers, if I'm the Sixers, I'm done being so picky, and I'm trying to give the Blazers what they want to get Damian Lillard. If you can pair Damian Lillard, Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons, that's quite possibly the best team in the Eastern Conference,
I
in
don't think
my
they're,
opinion.
they're not eager to trade Lillard. They'd rather do everything else before they trade Lillard. That's like their last option. Because I mean, Portland is a small market team. They need some kind of attraction for them to be relevant in the league. Because if they go years and years without being relevant, that's really going to hurt them as a franchise. So I think
I
they
understand that,
Lillard is the last resort.
but if you're the Blazers, you're nobody. People want to play with Dame, but people don't want to play in Portland. If Dame were to go to the Sixers, if he was to go to the Knicks, it's like, okay, I want to go play with Dame in Philadelphia. I want to go play with Dame in New York. Those are more appealing spots to go play with Dame in. But nobody wants to go play with Dame in Portland. They haven't been having good GM thing. They haven't been making good decisions with their GM. I don't think that they're in a position to be winning at any time soon. Obviously, like we said, CJ McCollum having this collapsed lung, it really messes things up for the trade value that they have for him. Damian Lillard is their only viable source. And like you said before, trying to get people to go play with them, it's not going to happen. So if you could get a guy like Ben Simmons to start things over, or you could get a bunch of picks and young talent to start over with the Portland Trailblazers, that's, I think, their best option at anything going forward for them in their future. I don't think like I said, I think it's a win-win for the Blazers, and I think it's a win-win for whoever else can manage to get Damian Lillard on their squad. So I
But
think
then,
that,
like you look at like the Thunder right now, they're like, oh, they have all these picks, but like, do you see the Thunder actually being relevant anytime soon? Like,
okay, I understand that, but the Thunder didn't make those trades to become relevant in just a year or two. They made those trades because they're hoping in the next maybe 3, 4, 5 years. I know it seems like a long time, but if you could have the young talent, you look at getting Josh Giddey and what he's been doing for the team. He's looking to be a very young, talented rookie in the league. You have Shy Alexander, who has so much building to go with. He can score the basketball at every level of the court.
and
I
that's
think he's
it.
so good. And then all the picks that they have to go along that they can hopefully add in the next 2 to 3 years, they're in a good place for the future if they can manage to hold those guys together. And the Blazers can kind of put themselves in that kind of situation. Obviously, not trying to get like 20 picks like OKC has, but hopefully getting more to be able to build for their future, since they can't really attract big time stars to their team because it's Portland, and the GM and the whole front office hasn't really been doing much to help out Dame and CJ for the future.
I think the most viable thing that you could do would be trading CJ and Nurkic and Powell, whatever, and just try to get like a solid all star in return. Yeah, like if you can get like a Ben Simmons or like you said Jaylen Brown, I think that's going to be the first option you do. See how it works out. If it doesn't, then yeah, you're screwed. But I mean, you're going to be screwed
It,
either way. If because like I don't see like even if you trade for picks and young players, like it doesn't really make you relevant. It's just kind of like, oh wow, they're on the rise, and then they never do anything.
I mean, yeah, we can't really say, oh, are these picks, are the rookies that they get going to be good? We can't, and that's the whole point of a rebuild. It's just a matter of, okay, we need to start over, and hopefully we could get that next top guy for the NBA. But and like you said, if CJ McCollum can manage to come back at any point this season, we know what he can give. Maybe possibly like you said, packaging up Nurkic, CJ, and some maybe a few picks, and maybe even Simons and Powell to get maybe like Miles Turner and Ben Simmons. And now you look at a new complete Trailblazers team. You have Dame, Miles Turner, and Ben Simmons. That's you just got yourself some amazing talented defense to pair along with one of the best offensive weapons in the game in Damian Lillard. Definitely something that could work out. But with CJ going through what he's going through, I don't think Nurkic has the top of the top trade value, but he's still a decent center in the league.
Because it's like
Powell, I think, has a lot of value.
it's like
So
you remember when the Lakers before they got LeBron, they had like Ingram and Lonzo and all those guys, and they're like, oh, they have one of the best young cores in the league. Like, watch out for them. Like, do you think if the Lakers kept all those guys that they would be like good? I highly doubt it. So I mean, that's the thing. What
if they kept all those guys, you see how good all those guys are right now. What do you mean? If they would have been
Brandon
patient,
Ingram
obviously
making the
the
playoffs.
Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, they've had guys like D'Lo, they've had guys like Julius Randle. I mean, those are all, look at what they're doing right now. I mean, they're all amazing talents.
Lonzo didn't make the playoffs last year. The only reason that he's on a good team is because of the other guys on the team. I'm not saying
Okay, I never
stuff.
said Lonzo was a guy that's just going to lead your team. I'm saying the amount of all of them being on the same team together. Obviously, Brandon Ingram isn't going to lead the Pelicans to a playoff spot. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell isn't going to just lead the Timberwolves by himself to
What
a
I'm saying
playoff
is,
spot.
do you think if they were all still together, they would be a good team? So LeBron doesn't
Yeah,
come in.
they're with
No,
all
that's
that talent that just say, I'm not saying that they all could have been together, but Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, all together on the same team, yes, that could have been pretty great. And they're only getting better as the years go on. And being able to build off one another, if they had surrounded them with the right coaching, obviously, would I rather have LeBron James and Anthony Davis at the point of what they had? Absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't want to have LeBron James, Anthony Davis? The Lakers chose we want to win now. We don't really want to develop our young talent, but look what the Lakers' position is right now. LeBron is maybe 2 years out of being able to be really in great contention. Disney isn't looking like the same player that he once was. What are they gonna do come future? They have nobody. They have no picks. They have not really a great young talent that could be like, oh wow, this guy's gonna take over. I mean, their best case is what, THT. So they don't have a lot of really great talent to build them for the future once LeBron and AD are done. And we don't know what's going to happen with Russell Westbrook and if they're even going to decide to get get done with him. But we're gonna talk about the Lakers on this episode as well. But that's my point on for the Blazers and going
I'm just
forward in their
saying,
future.
whenever it comes to like a rebuild like that, like when you're gonna trade away your star player, like I'm really not for that most of the time because it usually doesn't work out good for for yourself if you do that. It's gonna take a long time for you to become like relevant again. So like like when the Celtics, they did it right when they traded Pierce, Garnett, and KG. They took that 1 year off and then but they drafted Smart and then they got good again. I mean, not they drafted literally Marcus Smart, but they drafted like Jalen Brown and stuff like that. So I think that worked out for them, but that's one of the few cases where when you trade away your good guys and then they actually work out. Every other time it usually just leads to like mediocrity and like botched picks most of the time.
That's, I mean, like I said, you're taking a gamble, but are the Blazers really going to be relevant if they can't manage to get anybody from McCollum or Nurkic or even Powell, and then they're just going to go years and years? Do you see how much Dame is asking for? Are they going to want to pay him that kind of contract? And what? Then he ends up staying for the next 2 years, and then he leaves in free agency, and you get nothing out of it. And then the Portland Trailblazers are really going to be have nothing come future. I mean, I think they still have some decent young talent. Dennis Smith Jr. is actually playing really well. They have Simons. If you could get a lot more young talent to build off, I mean, that could be a good future for the Blazers if they could manage to get rid of all their guys, clean house, and just get a bunch of young talent to come up from them for the future. I think that's their best bet. I think Dame needs to go. I think he's not going to win anything in the show, even if they can make a decent trade. I don't think it's going to be enough to get them over the hump of beating the best teams in the West. I think they're done for, and I think Dame needs to go.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
One more example I want to talk about was like the Magic last year. So I mean, they have a lot of like they had like a lot of like not studs, but like decent guys. So they had guys like Vucevic, and they traded everybody that was like worth something. And now look at them. I mean, they've got young players that are like good, but like I don't see the Magic going anywhere anytime soon. So that's my fear when you trade your best guys away. You do get like picks and assets back, but like I don't think it's going to lead you anywhere in the long term.
Well, I mean, are they going to go anywhere in the long term with what they have right now?
Well, sometimes you're just screwed. I don't know.
Exactly. So why not be screwed and get young talent and hope for the best instead of possibly losing all your guys in free agency or just having all these old talent, all these stars now, and then it doesn't lead to anything now, and then you're just screwed for the future and you're screwed for the present as well. So I don't see that as a win-win for the Blazers in any kind of sort for that.
Okay.
Simple as that.
We'll see. Hopefully Lillard and everyone else gets healthy because I'm sick of seeing the Blazers lose, especially the Warriors. That pisses me off. But
Just
yeah,
too good.
moving on. We're gonna go to the Lakers win over the Grizzlies last night. It was a great win for the Lakers.
Before we talk about the Lakers, let's talk about the rookies. Before we
Oh,
talk about the Lakers and our picks with the rookies, obviously, Alex, we know your pick was Cade. My pick was Jalen Green. They haven't been living up to the expectation that we had when we chose them for Rookie of the Year. But I look at Jalen Green. Obviously, right now he's not having the best start to his young season, but still has a lot to build off of.
like
But the
he's
Rockets
like
are
the
on a
worst
seven-game
player in
winning
the
streak
NBA right
without
now.
him.
He's like the worst rotation player in the NBA right now.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see right now, without him, the Rockets are on a huge roll. So, I mean, there's still a lot to prove. I mean, I look at some of these rookies. I mean, I don't think Cade and Jalen aren't even top two right now in rookies in their draft class right now. With what we're seeing from guys like Mobley, what we're seeing from guys like Scotty Barnes, even like I said, Josh Giddey and how he's been. I think, do I expect these two guys to build up and be a lot better than what they are now? Absolutely. But they still have a lot to prove. They need to get better in a lot of categories in their game, and hopefully they could be better come for the future.
Think yeah, obviously like Cade was hurt at the beginning of the year for like the first few weeks, but now he's back. He had like a rough start to the season. I think he only had like 2 points in his first game or whatever. But yeah, now that in the last 2 weeks he's really been showing out. He's getting like 20 points per game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Like I think he's going to become that all around player over the course of the year. I do think he has a chance to win the Rookie of the Year. And Evan Mobley has been looking good. He had that like elbow injury, I think. But the Cavs, I hate to say it, are a more talented team than the Pistons right now. So I think that's going to help them help him his case to be like the Rookie of the Year. But I
Because
definitely
of how
think
good they're doing.
Cade,
Absolutely.
looking back on this, Cade is going to be probably the best player. I mean, he was the number one pick for a reason. But yeah, and then I just want to conclude that yeah, Jalen Green is terrible. right now.
Yeah, Jalen Green has definitely not been up to speed. I don't know if he will
30%
get up
from
to
the field.
speed. Yeah, 38% from the field, and like you said, Cade kind of had that bad start for those first few games, and it kind of messed up his stats going forward. Obviously, I look at Cade; he's averaging 15, 6, and 5. He's shooting 38% from the field, and I expect that to go up. He's a huge guard that can play great defense, and like you said, all around play. He can defend, he could pass, he can rebound, and only if he could just get that jump shot to be a little bit more efficient, the sky is the limit for a guy like him. He's a guy like as big as almost Ben Simmons, and I think he has a more of an offensive bag than what we've ever seen from Ben Simmons. But like you said, Mobley has been great. He's been a guy that you could just plug in and he's just going to be good for your team defensively and offensively, averaging 14 and 8, shooting 47% from the field. And I think he's the best defensive rookie in this draft class, proving to be that kind of defensive rookie. Now you're pairing him with all these big guys like Jared Allen, Laurie Marketing, and we just see how good the Cavs are doing. Nobody really expected the Cavs to be this good going forward.
Yeah, I mean, outside of LeBron, the Cavs have never been relevant, so it's good to see them actually building something on their own. The only thing is,
Facts.
like, I get concerned with the Cavs is what position does Mobley play with them? Is he the small forward, like when they have Laurie Markkinen and Jared Allen on the floor? I mean, that's kind of a unique situation. We never seen like three 7-footers play at once like that. But yeah, I mean,
I definitely say he's a small forward. He could definitely guard the three. He's definitely athletic enough to be able to guard threes. And he's big enough. And like I see, like for instance, if you had to go up and guard Kevin Durant, who's your best option? It's going to be Evan Mobley. Is he going to be able to guard Kevin Durant? Probably not. But he is your best option. He's only a rookie, and he's proven to be an all defensive type of player already. But yeah, he's definitely the three when those three bigs are all in the game together. I think the Cavs are just a really good guard away from becoming even more relevant than what they are. So we'll see what their future holds for them. I look at guys like Scotty Barnes possibly might be leading the rookie case for rookie of the year, averaging 15 and 8, shooting 48% from the field. He's getting some good usage. Obviously, his usage has gone down a little bit since Siakam's back, but we don't know what really the case is for the Raptors if they want to keep this team and try to go forward, or if they want to keep.
OG Anunoby has been out too, so that's been helping him with his usage as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So we don't know if his usage is really going to be this high and if those numbers will really stay that good once he comes back because I don't know if he's going to start when OG comes back. I mean, you have three Siakam at the 4 and OG at the 3. So is he going to start? Probably not. He might have to come off the bench, and that's going to really dip his usage going forward.
Yeah. Speaking of rookies, what are your thoughts on the Warriors rookies right now that have been playing, Mr. Kuminga and
Come buckets and Moody.
yeah.
Um, I'm really sold on Kuminga. I love Kuminga's game. He's so good on defense. I'm looking, he's a great defensive player. And I think if he got the same usage as all these other rookies, he would be showing to be that good on defense. Obviously, right now, the Warriors don't really utilize those two rookies like these other teams are. But Kuminga has such a good all the intangibles to be great. He's fast, athletic. He can get up there. He can defend almost all positions. He's great. I think he has so much to learn. And then playing alongside like guys like Draymond and two shooters as good as Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, he's great. I love what I see from him, whether it's just the few minutes that he plays in NBA games and what we see from him in the G League. Moses Moody, on the other hand, he's been up and down for me. He's a guy that he's definitely could be 3 and D. He's a really more bigger guard, but I haven't really been seeing much. He's been doing pretty well in the G League. In the NBA, he's had some minutes, but it hasn't really been there. And they were talking about him being a guy that is like, oh, he looks NBA ready. We can throw him into the rotation and he's going to help us out. But it hasn't been working out that way. But I definitely think he can still develop to be great. But I'm not too sold on Moody like I am for Kaminga. I really like Kaminga and what he's doing. Only 19 years old, so he has a lot to get better at with his game and how much he can help the Warriors come future for the future.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy situation that the Warriors are as good as they are and they still have these rookies like that still can be valued
Exactly.
for a trade, which is kind of annoying. But
But I look at the Warriors and you think obviously they're already the best team in the NBA, if questionably the top 3 teams in the NBA right now, still have yet to get Klay Thompson and James Wiseman back. So if they decide, and like you said, they didn't make any trades in the offseason. So if the Warriors decide, we don't want to trade anybody. We don't want to trade our rookies. We don't want to trade anybody at all. They're set not only for now, but then once Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green start going on to the end of their careers, they could just completely help develop the young talent like we have in Poole and Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, and it's just going to be so much that we're set for years to come. And not many teams can really say that, can say, "Oh, we're a great team now, and then we're gonna great." I don't even think any team can really say that right now. The Nets, not the Lakers, not what are the Bulls a little bit younger, but not really many teams that could say, "Yeah, we're gonna be good for these next 3 to 5 years, and we're gonna be good for the next 5 years after that." And I think the Warriors can say that for themselves, and that's a huge thing for the organization.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to admit it, but yeah, they are in a good position since Katie helped them out and did a sign and trade instead of just leaving them like he
Facts.
could
That
have.
was definitely
Yeah,
huge. And
they got
Wiggins has been
They got
great. So
D'Lo, and then D'Lo turned to Wiggins and picks, and then yes, that was a good move for them. They're really lucky that Katie like let him do that. So
that was definitely huge. But let's move on to the very upsetting Los Angeles Lakers, Alex. I'm going to let you take this one and what you're seeing from them and what you think they should do going forward.
oh yeah, it was a great game last night. LeBron got a triple double. Just was amazing. I
Oh
mean,
man, no Jaw, no Dylan Brooks.
yeah,
That's tough.
yeah. So I mean, the biggest thing is their defense. It's like, and I hate to admit it, it's LeBron. He just sometimes he just does not want to rotate. Like it kind of reminds me of when Kuzma like shoved him to like guard that guy one time.
And then he starts blaming his teammates. What are you doing? What are you doing?
No, I mean, I'm not.
LeBron, he just got blown by.
No, not to get me wrong. Like, I mean, he has been messing up, but it's also like everyone. It's AD, it's Westbrook, it's THC. They're all not rotating like hard enough. They're not playing hard. And you got someone like the Grizzlies who they're just these young guys, Desmond Bain. Um,
Playing hard.
yeah, I mean, they're all these young guys that just like, oh, we can beat LeBron, like someone that they've been looking up to forever. Like they're gonna give it their hardest. Yeah, I remember Desmond Bain had a layup over LeBron, and it was like he just got beat. Like there's nothing more to it. They
Exactly.
had the Lakers had a lead in that game for like in the middle of the third quarter, and then they just blew it. And the biggest thing I think is Anthony Davis does not look like he like cares at all. Like obviously we know his skill set, but he's just been playing like so like lackluster. I remember Charles Barkley said like he looks like he doesn't care at all. Like he has no motivation to play to be great, like we know he can be.
Hmm.
And yeah, like his shooting has been terrible. I mean, he's shooting like 20% on jump shots. That's like
Yeah,
I don't know. Like JaVale McGee is better than that. Like, come on.
A Disney has not been there this season. And it's crazy to think the man's averaging 24 and 10, shooting 52% from the field. And we're considering him to just play like he's not care. The guy has so much talent. And as much as I haven't been as much of an Anthony Davis fan, and I think that's always been his struggles. He can't really be relied on to be that guy. And to be seeing the Lakers, they got Westbrook and they have AD because they knew LeBron was getting older. And LeBron can't be that guy that they have to look, okay, LeBron, we need you to win this game for us. And they're still playing like LeBron needs to win the game for them. You can't have expect year 19 LeBron James to still be leading your team and have Westbrook and AD still not be the guys to be able to, you know what, LeBron, here, you take a step back. We're gonna win this game for you. And it's the truth is it's not happening. And like you said, with Charles Barkley and Anthony Davis, we know the talent that he has, and comparisons to Giannis and what he has that skill set. He has the defense. We know that he could be a pretty decent jump shooter, but I don't know what it is. And I look at games where there's certain times where he goes up for layups and he's just getting blocked by smaller guys and he's just getting completely destroyed by Robert Williams against the Celtics on defense. I don't know if he's just completely playing like that because he just doesn't have that mindset to be better, or if there's just an injury that he's a little bit scared of happening to him that's forcing him to not be as athletic and good that he normally can be.
Yeah, and I mean it's like, and also Westbrook, it's like he will never have like two good games in a row. It's like he played pretty good against the Celtics. I think he had like 16 points in the third quarter. He really like broke it open for them to get that win.
Yeah.
He had some great facilitating. I mean, he bricked a lot of threes, but I mean, what do you expect? I mean, it's Westbrook. Like he does what he does. But then yeah, yesterday he was horrible. Like I forgot he was even on the floor in the fourth quarter. He was getting outplayed by, like I said, Desmond Bain and all them. Like it's kind of like bro, like I don't know how you're not even like old. Like you should be able to play a back to back at a high level still.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's Westbrook's deal, and we said it. Me and you, I think we both said it very spot on at the beginning of the season. Westbrook wasn't going to really help this team both much, and I think we were both spot on. Maybe there's still a lot of time left, but we're in a part of the season, and like we said, this isn't the same LeBron James. This isn't the same Anthony Davis. This isn't the same Russell Westbrook. We can't just be like, oh, there's so much time left. They're going to
Russell
figure it
Westbrook,
out.
right?
You don't just figure things out like this. When you're losing to a team without Dylan Brooks and John Morant, and you have all this talent on the Lakers, these aren't things you can just figure out and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna spin it around in 25 games. We're gonna win our next 20 games. That I don't think that's how it works. And when we looked at the preseason and you looked at the difference between a team like the Warriors and a team like the Lakers, the Warriors went undefeated in the preseason. And then the Lakers didn't even win a game in the preseason. And people are like, it's the preseason. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Bro, winning matters. Whether it's the preseason, whether it's the regular season, winning matters. And if you come out on top and showing up like you're really that good of a team, it's going to go come at the end of the season and then come playoff time. And the Lakers are just not doing those things. And I don't know what they have. I mean, people are saying, "Oh, just wait till we get Ariza. Wait till we get Kendrick Nunn." Oh man, I forgot how good a Trevor Ariza is. Man, we're really relying on a 37. What? How old is he? 37-year old, 36-year old Trevor Ariza to help this team win basketball games. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing is like, yeah, I mean they're doing bad, but I mean they're still the seventh seed, so I mean like it's not like they're in a gaping hole where they got to come back up and like try to like barely make the eighth seed. I mean, if this is the worst that they'll be this season, like I'm fine with that. Like I can definitely see them like getting up to like the third seed, the fourth seed,
I
especially
don't see the third
whole.
seed.
Okay,
I think they're going to make the playoffs. That was never a doubt. We're not at a point where damn, are the Lakers not going to make the playoffs? No, we're not at that point. The Lakers are definitely going to make the playoffs,
we're not the Warriors last year. Yeah,
but can we put into a perspective? And people talked about, oh, if AD was healthy, they instantly beat the Suns, and I was one of those people. I thought, okay, the Lakers should have probably would have beaten the Suns if Anthony Davis played, but the way I'm seeing them now, and then what we're seeing from the Suns now, the Suns need to get their respect. And can are the Lakers really going to be able to beat a team like the Suns in a 7 game series, the Warriors in a 7 game series? There hasn't been much. Obviously, we know how much the Nuggets are losing out. The Blazers are losing out. The West has been kind of really weird this season. I don't know what to expect from the West going forward. And obviously, we look at the Clippers. They're kind of barely being able to fight for those bottom seeds like we said they would. And whenever they get Kawhi Leonard back, you know they're going to be a top tier team. But can the Lakers beat those three teams in a 7 game series with the way they're looking at right now if they don't make any changes?
the only time I'll start to get worried legitimately about the Lakers that if they're in a playoff series and they're down 3-0. That's the only time I will be concerned about the Lakers. Like I just know like at some point LeBron is just gonna like make some adjustments to the team. I don't know, maybe make some threats to the players about being traded. But yeah, he'll get it together eventually. It was just last year was just unfortunate. I mean, with AD being hurt and then Schroeder and Kuzma playing like ass, it was just it was just bad. But now
Alex, the Lakers, and you say, okay, I expect LeBron James to figure it out, and I do. LeBron James is LeBron James. He's not who I'm worried about, but partially it is him that I'm worried about. We people say, oh, just wait till playoffs. LeBron's gonna be this. LeBron's gonna be that. He's not that kind of guy anymore. He's still a great talent, and people will say, oh, averaging 25, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, decline. Bro, it's more than that. You see his stats right now. He's averaging 25, and he's barely scoring inside the paint. This is all jump shots. He's shooting better than he has ever had from three. He's shooting better than he's ever had from the mid range. That's what we're seeing from LeBron James this year. Are you going to go into a 7 game series against Golden State and expect LeBron James to outshoot guys like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Otto Porter Jr.? Is LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis going to outshoot those guys in a 7 game series?
I okay, so how come is when Michael Jordan adjusts his game to be more of a jump shooter, he gets praised for it, but then when LeBron does it, it's like, oh, he's weak, like he doesn't want to go to the hole anymore.
What do you mean? I never said that he wasn't weak for that. But
You said
Michael
you're
Jordan
saying
was
like he won't be what he was. Like it's
no,
the same thing.
because LeBron James is so dominant because nobody can stop him on the drive. It's we know that. But if if you're forcing LeBron, okay, beat us with the jump shot. He might have one or two games in a 7 game series where, wow, this guy's not missing. Like we saw against the Celtics, the man was so hot in the first quarter shooting the ball. Like he just couldn't be stopped. And even when he was contested, he was shooting jump shots at a high clip. But like I said, are we really going to trust LeBron James to be able to shoot at a very high level from three, from mid range, and be able to lead his team when he doesn't have great shooters around him, like with Westbrook and how Westbrook and AD have been shooting the ball this year?
Yes, we can.
No, we're not going to be able to expect that. I'm sorry, but that's where Laker fans need to get their head out of their ass. It's not going to happen. The Lakers have a lot to do going forward. They're a team that they think that they're a jump shooting team when they're really not. They need to be more inside. And if we could see them in these next, we still have, like I said, so much time left. We don't need to overreact. There is a part of overreaction with the way they're playing right now, but we don't need to just expect them to just not be able to turn it on and be able to start dominating in the paint like they've always done. But they're not doing it right now. They're very soft when it comes to the paint. Their defense is at an all-time low. They're already talking about we need to fire Frank Vogel, blah blah blah. But wasn't it just 2 years ago they were saying Frank Vogel's so smart, defensive-minded coach, and now that they suck, they want to fire him?
Yeah, I mean, it's when it comes to the coach, it's really hard to say. Like sometimes it is the coach, like, or sometimes it's not. Because like on the Cavs, remember when they had David Blatt the first year? They made the
Mm-hmm.
finals. They were 2 games away from winning, and then I think he got fired when they were like I was saying like 19 and 8 or whatever in the beginning of the season, and then they got to Tyronn Lue. So I mean, it's just like, and then they won that year, obviously. But it's like, is that something that really changed the outcome? Like, I feel like they could have won that either way because I mean, the coach is different. But I don't know. I think Frank, like, it's more of like, will the players play hard for that coach? So I think like the defense, yeah. I mean, they're not playing as hard as they could on defense. So I don't know if Vogel's not motivating them enough. He's kind of like always like this on the sideline, like nodding his head. I'm like,
He's just looking at the refs like every single play.
I'm like, bro, are you like, what are you like doing? Like, I don't know if I don't, I like, it's something inside the locker room. I feel like LeBron mostly is the one like, it's like coaching and motivating the team. Um, but yeah, it's like, I don't even think there would be a good replacement for him at the moment. So, I mean, the only guy I can think is Mark Jackson. You've got to be better. That's
You've
all.
got to be better. Exactly. That's all.
That's
That's all it comes down to.
That's the only guy I mean I could think of a replacement. There's not if there's not an overwhelming like oh we need this guy instead of Vogel, like I don't think you should trade him. You got to figure it out at the moment.
Definitely. Do you think that the Lakers should explore possibly making trades before the deadline this year with the way they're looking?
Yeah, I mean I want to see what Nunn and Ariza bring once they get back, but the biggest thing is I think it's Carmelo. Like when Carmelo like has a good game that lasts him for like 8 games of being bad, which I think is not that good. I mean, I think they once Ariza comes in is going to be playing better defense than Carmelo, that'll help. But I don't know who's going to be what they're going to trade for. I mean, you can't like get like a young guy that's like a 3-and-D guy. Like those are really valuable in the league. It's hard to trade for them like that. So but if somebody really wanted like Malik Monk, I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah, take him.
Yeah, they have some talent to definitely possibly put into packages. Monk, THT, even none, and then obviously it would resolve around a package with Russell Westbrook if they wanted to get rid of him. But I don't know who. I mean, I think their best call right now at making a big trade is only with the Trailblazers and looking at guys like Sabonis, Miles Turner, Karis LeVert, possibly making moves like that. But I don't, like I said at the beginning, I don't think Westbrook really fits well with this team. I don't know if they could really make a trade or teams really like, oh yeah, we want Westbrook, and teams aren't really kind of forcing themselves to be like, oh, we want to rebuild. That doesn't start with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook isn't your answer. So there's not really many teams I see kind of really saying, okay, yeah, we'll do this package as long as Russell Westbrook's ahead of it. No, that's not going to happen. Obviously, young talent, like we said, Monk and THT, they have some value. They play pretty well, but I don't know if they really have a lot of teams really looking at their guys like, yeah, those are guys we want for some of our best guys. If we're going to give you guys like Sabonis, or even if they decided let's try to get Ben Simmons, like they don't have that kind of talent to be able to just give up, and like teams want 100% going forward.
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing that he could get is like a solid 3-and-D guy, like a Tim Hardaway Jr. or Dorian Finney-Smith type of guy like from Dallas. But I mean, yeah, there's not many of those like sitting around, and the teams that have them usually value them more than like a guard like a Malik Monk. It's hard to find a good trade for them, honestly. I mean, I think a good guy would be Brogdon. That was one guy in the summer where I thought that'd be a good trade for them.
Bro, yeah, I could see that, but like I said, the Pacers are in rebuild mode. So who are they going to really give up for Brogdon or even a guy like Levert, two young scoring guards that could really help you on hopefully both sides of the court, but they don't really have much to give up for those guys.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely, if the right offer presents itself, I would definitely take it. It's not like the Lakers have this unbreakable chemistry that a trade would ruin it. So, um, I definitely think they should be picking up the phones, talking to other teams, see if there's somebody that would be worth it to trade. I know another team that probably would be a good trade option would be like maybe on the Knicks, like getting someone like one of those, not like a RJ Barrett, but someone like one of those like gritty defensive wings that they have. But other than that, I mean, there's I don't want to change. Like I don't want to trade for like a big. I mean, they already have AD. I don't want them to have another like Dwight Howard type of guy too.
Yeah, and everybody thought at the beginning of the season, bro, the Lakers need to get Rondo back. They need to get Dwight Howard back. I'm telling you, we're gonna be nice. Let's just bring back that same 2020 championship team. And we're looking at how that's working for them. Dwight barely plays. Rondo barely plays. I don't know what the Lakers have in store. LeBron is definitely a guy you could still trust to be great. He's LeBron James, and I'm always going to respect LeBron James no matter who it is. I don't want to always obviously face LeBron James, but people have been saying it. Teams are just not scared of LeBron James like they were back then. It's simple as that. Teams are looking at the Lakers like we're not scared of the Lakers, and like they were like we said when they won the championship, everybody was scared to go up against LeBron James and AD. That's was one of the questionably the best duo in the NBA, and they're just even the young teams, like you said, like they're not scared of them. People are going at them. They want to beat the Lakers, and they don't really have that fear from LeBron and AD like they did a few years ago. I don't know what's going to change that. They might be looking into some trades. I don't know if they can really get something big done, but if they can, that's going to be good for them. But going forward, hopefully these next 20 games, we'll see what they could do before the All-Star break in February. So we'll see what they could do going that forth for that, and if they can make any big changes with the team or whether it's coaching, whether it's players, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean they got the Thunder tonight.
Oh, let's see if
Hopefully
they can actually beat the Thunder.
they don't blow a 20-point lead for the third time. That would be pretty sad. But I mean, yeah, and especially like the gimme games, like the games where they like have like against the injured Grizzlies team or like yeah the Thunder. Like I need you guys to win those games. Like I'm sorry, like
Exactly. You can't lose those kind of games.
if you lose a game to the Suns or to like the Sixers or whatever, and like it's an off night, I get it. But like these gimme games, like I'm sorry, like you need to win most of these games. It's gonna hurt you in the long run.
Yeah, we'll see what they do going forward. Obviously, they'll have a few gimme games like we see tonight with OKC. I mean, I don't think they shouldn't lose a back to back to the Grizzlies and to the OKC Thunder. If that happens, I think they just need to shut it down. If this happens at this point,
Forfeit every
but
year.
let's talk about some of the games tonight before we go out today, Alex. I know like you said, Lakers and Thunder shouldn't be that much of a big game, but who knows what the Lakers come out with tonight. Celtics Suns. Obviously, Celtics still kind of playing without Jalen Brown. He's still questionable for tonight. If Jalen Brown does play, who do you got in that game?
Definitely think the Suns are gonna win, especially it's in Phoenix. Celtics are they're literally 500. They're 13-13.
They've been
Um,
struggling without Brown. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, it's just like the Celtics have all these good guys, but just the Suns are rolling, and the only time they lost was because of against the Warriors with no Devin Booker. So yeah, I don't see the Suns losing.
Yeah, I definitely would take Suns. Hopefully the Celtics, another team that they could try to figure it out going forward. There's been talks about them maybe shopping Jalen Brown, but I don't know what their future holds. They have they have the talent, but I don't know if they're gonna what they can do with it. We'll see. Maybe this year is going to be a big year for the Celtics if they decide, okay, we're going to stay with this squad, and if we decide we could win with this squad, we're going to go with it forward. But if they have another upsetting season come playoff time, and they can't manage to get to even the second round or maybe even the Eastern Conference Finals, I think we're going to see a big change for their organization. Next big game, Nets Hawks. Who do you got tonight?
I think the Nets will play. I mean, the Nets will win. I think KD, he's going to play. He had that last game off
So
against
he
the
fresh legs,
Rockets.
fresh legs.
Yeah, so I think he'll be ready to go. And I mean, James Harden, he's been. I mean, I wish he would have.
Sorry, he's been sorry.
I'm not sorry, but
He's been sorry. Stop looking at his fantasy numbers. He's been sorry.
okay. I mean, he's like leading the league in assists. Yeah, that's sorry. But no, I that was just a bad performance against the Rockets. Like he was just playing like, oh, I'm back in Houston. They'll just let me win, and then he just had some bad turnovers at the end. But yeah, I think definitely with KD back, there's no reason they shouldn't beat the Hawks.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun game. Hawks have been doing a little bit better since the beginning of the season. A one game over 500, so they're kind of battling it out. And the NBA has been so weird this year. There's been just teams that aren't off to great starts, and just a lot of unexpected things that have been going on in the NBA. But I will take Nets as well. I think Nets should come out with this big win. They haven't been really good against some of the top teams in the league. They have I believe, a losing record against the top teams in the league that are over 500 this year. So they definitely have to do better in that regard and showing the NBA like, yeah, we're one of the best teams in the league. And I think them being at the first seed right now it's kind of a fluke, not off of how good they are, but off the fact that they've been beating bad teams. They haven't been beating great teams. They're struggling with bad teams. They're getting really taken out by the best teams. So they have the Nets have a lot to do going forward. Obviously, I don't know their what their whole rotation things going rotation wise is going for them. They have a lot of questions to answer themselves, but they're in a still, like I said, first seed
Win,
in the
no
East,
win.
and we're over here talking about them possibly needing help or being better. So they still have a lot to prove, but I think they're going to be better going forward.
What about Knicks at Raptors?
The Knicks have been absolutely disappointing. Raptors are starting to get their things together a little bit. The Knicks are on a two-game winning streak. Our two-game losing are like actually like a 4 or 5 game losing streak. What am I saying? Um, dang, the Knicks. The Knicks have been upsetting. You know what? I'm gonna go Raptors. I'm
I
gonna go
mean,
Raptors. I don't like what I've been seeing from the Knicks this year. Don't like it at all.
I think the Knicks will win this one.
You got Knicks?
Yeah,
I don't know. The Knicks have been upsetting. I don't even know if they're going to be as good as what they were last year. They're definitely another team that's been talking about possibly giving up their rookies, giving up
Kemba
trades, and
Walker
possibly
out of the
getting better guys.
rotation.
Such a disappointment. Such a disappointment. But we'll see if they could be a little bit better. Other than that, there's not really much good games. Pacers and Mavericks actually might be a pretty decent one. There's a lot of COVID protocol has really been screwing up teams this year, and we thought it was going to be a little bit better this season, but it hasn't, and it's messing teams up.
Least enough for
Hopefully,
games. That was
yeah. I mean, you got the Bulls picking up Alfonso McKinney because they don't have enough players in the rotation. So we'll see what COVID protocol. Hopefully, it doesn't affect these teams going forward. Have a few decent games today. Other than that, every other game is kind of a little weak. So we'll see what these teams have going forward. Do you have anything to add before we go out today, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the new style of the podcast. Really enjoy it. We're gonna be doing some fun things that you can see on camera. Jordan still has to do his bet for losing. So yeah, if you guys have any recommendations for the bet, just let us know on Instagram, whatever, and we'll make sure he does it.
Definitely, definitely. Make sure you guys check out our Instagram. We now have a TikTok, so we'll be giving a lot of updates and a lot of cool content on that for you guys. Comment what you guys think on those posts. We're going to be updating you guys with a bunch of things. Like he said, hopefully you guys like the new and improved podcast. We're going to be coming at you guys every Friday with new episodes, a little bit more lengthy episodes covering the best takes and the best things going on in the NBA currently. So we hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you guys next time.
Guys, take care.